But I just hit the record button. So family, thank you so much for jumping on training this evening. We have something very special planned tonight. We're going to dive into a fundamental of the business that rarely gets talked about in this level of detail and this much attention, but it is one of the most important fundamentals of the business, and that is getting referrals. Getting referrals. I told you guys last week as we were finishing up our wealth builder training. Hopefully you got a lot out of that. You know, we've been tap dancing on the wealth builder training since January, since we started things off in 2021. Well, we are starting, we're going to tie a bow on it tonight because a part of the wealth builder process, you know, is getting referrals. If you're not getting referrals at the end of the wealth builder, and we've all been guilty of not getting referrals at the end of the wealth builder, then there's a challenge and there's a disconnect in your process. And so hopefully we'll be able to mend that tonight and address some things and help some people going forward on how you can successfully get referrals, okay? So I'm gonna share my screen and coming out where we are, boom, just shattered, getting referrals. And the tagline for tonight, when I'm talking about getting referrals, listen to this, family, is that you only get what you negotiate. You only get what you negotiate. If you don't remember anything that I say tonight in reference to how to go about getting referrals, know and understand this and get this in your spirit. You only get what you negotiate when it comes to referrals. And so just know this, when you go through the process of getting referrals, you are entering into a negotiation. You're entering into a negotiation. And this is something that we talk to the field trainers about, right? And so if you ever think about, okay, I mean, how do you engage somebody when you're negotiating something? Well, when you're negotiating, you go into it knowing that, hey, man, this is what I want, right? I'm coming to the table. This is my request, or you could say my demands. These are the things that I want out of this whole deal. Well, guess what? The other side might have some other things to say about that. Well, then you start to negotiate. Well, here's the point that I want you to know. When you're going about the process of getting referrals, it is a negotiation, but the other side doesn't know that it's a negotiation. I'm going to say that again. When you go through the process of getting referrals from a client, from a family member, an advocate, whatever the case may be, you step into it the mind frame of, I'm going into a negotiation, which means that I'm going to walk away from the table with something. Y'all got to hear me on this. I'm going to walk away from the table with something. Now, the other side doesn't even know that it's a negotiation, so that's an advantage for you. If you know how to successfully take them through the process as you're negotiating, all right? And so let's talk about it. You only get what you negotiate. The problem is that we haven't negotiated referrals on the front end. Not in a good way, not in a solid way, not in a complete way, and not in a concrete commitment way. So when we get to the part where we think we should get referrals, we get blown off. We get blown off. People tell you all kinds of things like, I don't know nobody. I'm not sure. I want to talk to them first before I give. Shake your head yes if you've ever had somebody, and when you're trying to get referrals, that they give you that whole okie doke on some let me talk to a friend. Let me create the list and I'll get back to you with it and all that type of stuff. And then you never hear from them. You trying to call them, they're not answering the phone no more. They're not responding to text messages. Am I the only one? Am I the only one bearing my soul to y'all that this has happened to? Right? I mean, all of us, if you've been a part of this business for any period of time and that you've taken somebody to a process and asked for a referral, at some point you've confronted this as a challenge. And for those of you who haven't, we want to save you the heartache, right? And so let me tell you something. Wisdom is the ability to learn from other people's mistakes. Come on, somebody. That's wisdom. When you have the ability to see and learn from other people's mistakes and not make that same mistake. So here's the deal. For those of you guys who are fairly new, you haven't gone through this process of trying to get referrals, we're going to give you the process on how to successfully go about doing it so you don't have to experience what we've gone through. Use that wisdom and use that knowledge to be able to go out and be productive and be successful from day one, all right? And so with that, now let me say this too. I got to be honest with you. Nothing in Primerica, even what I'm about to show you, is 100% foolproof. Nothing is 100% foolproof, right? You always got to make room for them exceptions out there, man. There's some people that they just out there, they just not going to give you referrals just because that's who they are. That's who they are. They not going to give you referrals. You can dress it up any kind of way. You can negotiate on the front end, but when it come time for them to give you what you've negotiated for, what they committed to give you, they're going to renege on that. They're going to balk on that. They're not going to move forward with their end of the bargain. They're not going to hold it up. And let me tell you something. Anyone who does that to you, I want you to praise God for it. Wasn't it? Yes. Trust me. Anybody that does not go through the whole deal of giving referrals, I want you to praise God for it, because the rejection is protection. The rejection is protection. I don't want you trying to figure out what you did wrong, what happened, why did they not give me referrals? They said they would. I went through all the steps that Nick trained on. Matter of fact, I watched the training, I listened to the training before I got on with them, because I knew that I was going to talk about referrals with this person, and it still didn't work. Why did I do it wrong? I don't want you going into that. I want you to say, thank you, Lord, and keep it moving. Brush the dirt off your feet. You know what I'm saying? Brush the dust off your feet and keep it moving, because that rejection is your protection. And I want you to count it all joy. Are y'all with me on that? Shake your head yes if you're with me on that, all right? I don't want you getting down in the mouth. I don't want you feeling any type of way or frustrated because one or two people didn't give you referrals, even though you're going to take them through all this stuff I'm going to tell you tonight, all right? And so I just wanted to plant that seed, all right? So here we go. So let's get into getting referrals. You only get what you negotiate on the front end, right? And so in Primerica, and the way that we look at it in our base shop, there are 4 prospecting pipelines. There are 4 prospecting pipelines. These are the 4 pipelines in which we get new names and new contacts, right? So prospecting in Primerica is your ability to get new names and new contacts. Well, where do those new names and contacts come from? Well, we've broken them down into 4 different pipelines. Well, the first pipeline is your warm market. The second pipeline is a new recruits warm market. The third pipeline is the referral market. And then the fourth and final pipeline is cold prospecting or networking, right? And so let's talk about your warm market, right? This is where we should all start. When you first joined the business, you know, part of your orientation is you created a name list of people that you know and people who knew you. And your trainer should have identified some people from that list and said, hey, these are going to be the people that we go see to train you. Shake your head yes if that happened. Yep. At some point, that happened to where you created a name list of the people that you knew from your warm market. There were some people identified in the list, and that's who you went to go see, right? And that is an important place to start, right? That's an important place to start. And this is where we all should start. And now you see this little a picture of a chicken. What that is that inside of your warm market, you also have what they call a chicken list. Well, Nick, what's a chicken list? The chicken lists are people that you are afraid to call for whatever reason. Well, what are the reasons? The reason could be that these people have jobs, they have titles, they have positions, or whatever, or positions in your mind that you feel that they would not be interested in this opportunity or the services we offer, because how dare I go to them to talk to them about this? I think that they're just at a station in life, or they have this position or this title or this job or profession that I just don't feel comfortable. Or I think they might know more than me about this stuff. Whatever the case may be, we have built up this case against ourselves in our mind that these people already got it together. And those people sit on your chicken list. I'm here to tell you right now, family, if you have a chicken list, you better get them off your list. You better go talk to the people on your chicken list. And what I mean by getting them off your list, I mean, you need to get them off the chicken list and put them on your real list, and we need to go see them, because the people that are on your chicken list that you thinking are it all together, them the main people that ain't got no life insurance. I know that that wasn't proper English, but I'm still going to say it that way. Them the main people that ain't got no life insurance. Them the main people that's 1 or 2 paychecks from that whole lifestyle that you admire from afar. They 1 or 2 paychecks from it all going away. Those are the main people that don't know their FIN number. They're not saving and investing enough money. They don't have kids' college education plans. Those are the main people, the very people you scared to go see. They are waiting on you to come and talk to them, but you won't do it. So if you have people on the chicken list, get with your field trainer and you guys work through that, right? So that's the first prospecting pipeline. The second prospecting pipeline is the new recruits warm market. This is the best market to be in. This is when you recruit a person, they create the name list, and you're working the new recruits market. Now, ideally, Coach B-Walk, 80% of the business that we write, the life insurance business and investments that we write, should be from a new recruits warm market, right? 80% of the business, because if we're doing that, that means that we're writing healthy business. If the business we're writing is coming from a new recruits warm market and internal consumption, we have healthy businesses. And then you have the referral market, right? The referral market is a very, very important market that we're going to talk about here in a minute. And referrals can come from happy clients. They can come from family members, friends of yours, co-workers, ex-co-workers, people that are just advocates for what you're doing. Hey, well, I like what you're doing. You know, I think that everybody needs to hear about this. You need to go talk to people that I know. And guess what? Advocates don't necessarily have to be clients. They just love the ministry. They just love the crusade. And they want to help you and assist you in your plight to get the message out there. We all need advocates. And then we have beneficiaries and emergency contacts that can fall into that. We're going to talk about that tonight. And then the fourth and final pipeline is cold prospecting networking. And this is just you meeting strangers, you meeting new people while you're out and about. If you are a person that is out and about, hopefully you masked up and you're taking all the precautions in that way. You're masked up, you know, whether you're meeting people via social media. You just heard Coach B-Walk talk about that, how she just got a new teammate from social media, networking events, community events, church events. You might do a workshop, a financial wellness workshop, a seminar, whatever the case may be, where you're coming in contact with people where there's no prior relationship, and you're having to create that credibility from scratch and lead them down a process in a pipeline. So these are the 4 prospecting pipelines, but I'm here to tell you, family, these 2 right here, the new recruits warm market and the referral market, you got to master those. I know that in the power of prospecting training, I was talking about the referral market and the cold prospecting market are very important, because that's where you're going to get your new direct recruits, right? That's where you're going to get your new direct recruits when it comes to recruiting direct recruits for you. But if you want to stay in business in Primerica, you got to master working these 2 pipelines, the new recruits warm market and the referral market. Now, I'm going to tell you this, the new recruits warm market and working that, you have to be a field trainer. Listen to me. You need to be a field trainer to work the new recruits warm market. That's designated only for field trainers, right? The referral market is open to everybody, right? It's open to everybody. I'm going to repeat that. Working a new recruits warm market is only designated to a qualified, certified field trainer. The referral market is open and fair game to everyone, because we can all get referrals, right? Regardless if we're a field trainer or not, right? And so this is what I want to show you guys, right? The new recruits and referrals, new recruits and referrals are the lifeblood. I know I just said something as it relates to this, but this is a major key alert that you have to understand. You got to get in your spirit. New recruits and referrals, you got to look at them as the lifeblood of your Primerica business. Because without them, family, your Primerica business will die. They will die. And what do I mean by that, right? I mean that at some point, even if you have a big warm market, you know half the city know you and all that good stuff. At some point, your warm market is going to run out. Your warm market is going to run out. So what happens when your warm market runs out? Well, I'll tell you what happens. Your business activity dries up. It dries up. And you can go from where you have a lot of activity, a lot of momentum, and you'll literally come to a screeching halt if you don't know how to get referrals and work a new recruits warm market and you're not a field trainer. So, but what we're going to concentrate on is the new recruits warm market, right? Because that's something that we're going to focus on getting referrals because that's something that everybody could really, really dive into. And so that's the focus of our training. How to go about getting referrals effectively. How do we do that? How do we go about getting referrals, right? And so you only get what you negotiate. You heard me say that. Well, where are the negotiating points? Where are the negotiating opportunities? Well, this is where they are. You negotiate referrals during the warm-up portion of the presentation. When we do a winning presentation for a client, right? We have 3 different parts of the winning presentation. We have the warm-up, we have the play, and then we have what's called the who we are, what we do, and getting commitment. We have the warm-up, we have the play, and then we have the who we are, what we do, getting commitment. Those are the 3 parts, right, of our winning presentation system. Well, the warm-up is the first part. And during the warm-up, family, did you know that that's where you make your first negotiating appeal to the person for referrals is during the warm-up? You didn't realize that, did you? You just been kind of saying the words, not really understanding the power and the gravity of your words. You just been trying to get through the presentation or get to the play or get to whatever. And let me share with you what it is. When you say, hey, listen, how does more money and more freedom sound? And if somebody says, hey, more money and more freedom sounds great, well, excellent. Hopefully this is an opportunity for you, right? But if it's not, that's okay. I've been doing this long enough to know that this is not for everybody. But if it's not an opportunity you want to take advantage of, hopefully you find some value. When we talk about that, maybe you would want to become a client. Worst case scenario, you will be open to being a referral source for me. Because we don't do any cold calling, knocking on strangers' doors. We find that referrals from credible people is the best way to connect. Does that sound fair enough? Does everybody remember that? Everybody just going through the presentation or just heard the presentation, right? Or you've done the presentation. Does that part sound familiar? Shake your head, yes. See, that is your first negotiating pin that you're sticking in right there. That is you coming to the table. Okay, let's negotiate. And what do most people tell you when you say that? Do you have any challenge giving referrals? And they say, no, I don't. No, I don't. Oh, does that sound fair enough? Yeah, that sounds cool. Yeah, Sean, that's great. Yeah, I'll give referrals. No problem. But do they really mean that at that point? Nah, they don't really mean that. Yeah. I mean, they're just being nice at that point. But in your mind, you know that you're negotiating. See, they don't know it, but you better know it. You're negotiating. And so you remember that. And so that part of the presentation, you need to start taking more seriously. I'm going to repeat that. Those aren't just words to you anymore. And from this day going forward, when you make that statement during the warm-up, those cannot be just words to you. Those are negotiating words. These are my terms. This is what I need from this whole process and this exchange. Are y'all with me on that? Come on, somebody. Are y'all feeling me on what I'm talking about? Right? Thank you. Excellent. So those aren't just words anymore. You're serious. You're not just saying it just to kind of make it sound good. No. Right? Worst case scenario. Hopefully you feel comfortable being a referral source for me, because I don't do any cold calling. I don't knock on strangers' doors. I find that referrals from credible people is the best way to connect. You know, does that sound fair enough? Yes. Okay, great. That's something that we'll talk about towards the end. You really mean that because you're negotiating. They don't know it, but you're negotiating. All right. And so what you do is you go through the appointment process and all that type of stuff. And it doesn't matter if they go and they responded away in the warm up that you went through the play, or if they said, hey, I'm not interested in the business opportunity, I don't have time to do it. And then you skipped the play and you went to the who we are, what we do, getting commitments, whatever the case may be, right? You're going to find yourself probably at some point, if you don't recruit them, right? You're going to find yourself going through some form or some version, whether it's the full version or a condensed version of the who we are, what we do, getting commitments part of the presentation. That is the part of the presentation where you're telling them about, hey, have you ever heard of Primerica? Well, we're a financial services company. We've been in business since 1977. We have over 135,000 licensed representatives. That part where you're talking about the company, right? As you're going through those things and those fundamentals, right? Now, if you're doing the long version, and hopefully I've kind of made it clear on when to do, at least to the field trainers, when to do the short version and the long version of who we are, what we do, and getting commitments. But you can actually plant more seeds for getting referrals as you go through the who we are, what we do, and getting commitments. You can plant seeds with that, right? And so we'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll talk about that. But that is an important piece right there. Well, we'll talk about it now, because you can actually have people, as you're going through the presentation, let's just say that if you're doing the full version of the who we are, what we do, and getting commitments, let's say you're going through the rule of 72, right? As you go through the rule of 72, you may ask for some names to create the example in the scenario. You may ask for some names of 3 different people that they know that they feel would love to be financially independent. And they say, hey, my brother Jeff, I got my best friend Keisha, and then I got my cousin Eric, right? And so you're writing these names down as they're saying that, because those could very well be 3 people that could be referrals for you later. So it's just ways for you to ask for names of people throughout the presentation. And those names, you get them just by saying, hey, just for the sake of this example, let me get 3 people that you know that you feel would love to be financially independent. And they give you 3 people and you write their names down, right? So Andrea, I see that you are responding with the yes. I don't know if you're available to talk about it, but if you can, chime on and talk about it whenever you can. Just let me know if you're available. But because I know that you are a master at doing stuff like that, to where you're asking for names throughout the presentation and stuff like that. Let me know if you're available to talk about that and speak on that at any point.
Yeah, I actually just put that into practice on the last appointment that I had. As soon as I went through the presentation, I went through the rule of 72. And if you all know the slide, it talks about 3%, 6%, and 12%. And so I went ahead and asked the client, let's just play a game real quick, as I go through what the rule of 72 is. Give me 3 people that you know. You have 3 brothers and sisters, or some friends of yours, BFF, someone over the age of 18. We want that because we want to make sure that the person is not a child. But as they gave me the names, he gave me the name of his brother. He gave me the name of his sister, and then he also gave me the name of his cousin, Andre. And so I said, okay. And so I put all 3 of them, spread them all out. And at the end of it, I said, okay, so, what would you rather have your money growing at? 3%, 6%, 12%? 12%, that's right. Would you say that your 3 friends, or the 3 people that we named off, would you say that it would be important for them to know this information too? Great. Well, those are the first people that we're going to talk to. right? Your brother, your sister, and your cousin. And so those are just 3 names right there. And so, I'm not going to pull up name and number, phone number, and all that right then, but I'm writing it down so that when we get to the negotiation of the referrals that Nick is talking about, I already know there's 3. I got 3 already. And then we can just go for more from there. And so if they say, well, I don't know anybody, that's not true. I already have 3 names. And so that's one way you can add that into the presentation, just to negotiate the names throughout the presentation by adding scenarios and putting people's names in it.
Very powerful. Thank you for that, sister. I second that, Auntie. That was genius. Make sure that you, now you only do that when you're going through the full version of the who we are, what we do, and getting commitments. And the field trainers know what I'm talking about because we've trained extensively on that. And so, but yes, and so it's just a powerful way to go about getting names throughout the presentation and not just saving it all for the end. I'm telling you, wisdom is learning from other people's follies and errors and not doing the same thing. We've gone years and years and going about things, not so much the most efficient way. And so we don't want you guys to fall into those traps of doing that. And big shout out to Omar Rodriguez, because I know he does that as well. And going about getting referrals throughout the whole presentation process. So with that, you get them throughout. You get them throughout the presentation process. Like you said, who we are, what we do, and getting commitments. At the end, this is another negotiating push point. So we talked about you get them in the warm up. Okay, I'm coming to you. And then you talked about you get them in the who we are, what we do, and getting commitment. Then the next one is at the end. Okay, talk to me. Who's that?
It was me, Omar.
Okay, talk to us, brother.
No, I was just following back on what Andrew was saying. That's a great way to get the names and numbers, and also to make sure that you stress the point of the referrals is when she does that. Who is your brother, sister, whatever, 3 people, and then you show them the difference between 3 and 12%, for example, on the rule of 72. Then you can follow up with, do you see why Andrea, your brother John, should hear this information? So you stress the point, you ask a question to confirm, to make them confirm with you that it's good for them to hear this information.
Absolutely. And because, once you get their buy-in on that level, then, that pretty much solidifies them as, a referral for you, because they can't deny that this information wouldn't be good for those people that they just, listed. So good point. And it just basically illuminated what Andrea had just stated as well. So good stuff. But yeah, so you're getting these, again, guys, we're in a negotiation, so we got to take it, seriously from the jump, right? So we already got 3 different points of negotiating. We hit them up first during the warm up, right? We got them there. We hit them first there. And then throughout the who we are, what we do, and getting commitments, we hitting them with that. You can pick up, different names and numbers. Not numbers, but just names throughout that. And then at the end, once you get to the end of doing the who we are, what we do, and getting commitments, you got another place where you're going to do that. And we're going to talk about that in a second. And then this is another place before you begin taking the client through the wealth builder. That's another point, a push point moment in the negotiation for the referral. So if you look at that, these are 4 different instances of where you are driving in your whole push to get referrals from clients. And if you are hitting all 4 of these, I'm telling you right now, you increase your odds of being able to get referrals from the client. All right. So let's talk about getting referrals, right? So we talk about that warm up. So when we go on to an appointment with a person, whether they are, your personal appointment or a field trainer appointment, you're going to hear this part during the warm up. Hey, worst case scenario, hopefully you feel comfortable at least being a referral source. Does that sound fair enough? And we've already said the person's going to say, yes, that sounds okay, right? That sounds good. Okay, great. Well, that'll be the last thing, one of the things that we talk about. Boom, you got that point in there. And then guess what? If they say they're interested in the opportunity, hearing about that, making more money and having more freedom sounds good to them, you go through the play. If they say that they're not interested, you go through the who we are, what we do. Or if you go through the recruiting presentation, which is the play, and then at the end they don't want to join, you default to the who we are, what we do. You still go through that, and then you're planting those seeds throughout the who we are, what we do, and getting commitment. And then when you get to the end of that, and you're looking to schedule the time to do the wealth builder, you're also looking to get commitments for referrals. So you schedule the day and the time to do the wealth builder. You got to do that. This is the order in which you do it. You schedule the day and the time with the client to do the wealth builder. You let the client know what information they'll need to have in order to be able for us to do the wealth builder. And then you say this. This is where it happens. You say, all right, well, we already got our wealth builder scheduled. We know what information that you have to have. And, you said you can get that information together by the time we do our wealth builder. Listen to this, Mr. and Ms. Client. Our only fee for service, or my only fee for service, are referrals of people that can benefit from getting the same information. See, I don't do any cold calling. We don't knock on strangers' doors. We find that referrals from credible people is the best way to connect with our people, right? And so do you have any challenge? I know you said it earlier, but do you have any challenge giving referrals? And I'm telling you, family, they are going to tell you no. I don't have a challenge giving referrals. You can't think that they're telling you the truth at that point. Not saying that they're lying, but they haven't completely bought into just giving you referrals. So remember, you're still negotiating. So you're going to take it a step further. This is what you say by taking it a step further. You're going to say, listen, you said this. Your follow-up statement is, okay, great. Well, the first thing we'll do before we go through the wealth builder is create a short list of about 3 to 5 people that you would love to see become financially independent and who meet a certain criteria we're looking for. Does that sound fair enough? See, this is different. See, we used to wait until the end of the wealth builder to try to collect referrals. No, we're not doing that anymore. This is the difference. This is the shift. See, what you're doing is you're going to get the commitment from the client that before you even go through the wealth builder, before you even take them into the Primerica app, and you start typing in their information and showing them their PIN number and all that stuff, before we even do that, we're going to get that list of referrals from them at that point. Are y'all with me? And so you're telling them right then and there, that this is what's going to happen. Because remember, who's negotiating? You are. You're negotiating. And so because you're negotiating and they don't know it's a negotiation, you have an advantage because you get to set the terms. Come on, somebody. Y'all got to hear me. You get to set the terms. You want this wealth builder. We're going to give it to you. Well, our only fee for service for this wealth builder is a list of referrals of people that that you feel would love to be financially independent and also meet a certain criteria that we're looking for. Does that sound fair enough? Yep, that does sound fair enough. Well, great. All right. So before we go through your wealth builder on our next meeting, the first thing that we're going to do, Pastor Chris, is we're going to create a short name us about 3 to 5 people that that can benefit from getting this information. All right. And so, any challenge with that, any problem with that, that's what you do. This is the language. Great. The first thing that we'll do before we go through your wealth builder is create a short list of about 3 to 5 people that you would love to see become financially independent and also meet a certain criteria we're looking for. Does that sound fair enough? Great. Excellent. Wonderful. And they're going to say yes. And saying, this is what you got to do too, family. Look at this. We understand, and you understand what their main objection is going to be. What's their main objection, y'all? When it comes down to people giving referrals, what's one of the main objections that you get? Somebody come off mute and tell me what it is. What's one of the main objections that you get?
Let me get back to you.
Say, what is it, Sean? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Let me get back to you on that.
Let me get back to you on that. Okay, that's one of the main objections. What's one of the other objections that you get? Let me get back to you on that. What else do you get?
I can't
I
give
don't
them
know
your
anybody.
number without talking to them first.
Omar said, I don't know anybody. And then Tanisha, you hit the nail on the head. Let me call them first, and I'll get back to you once I talk to them. The old let me talk to them first, objection, right?
Yeah, one.
Here's the deal. If you know, and if we know that that's one of the main objections that people give, the whole let me talk to them before I give them out to you, before I give the name out to you, we have to get in front of that. Now, the whole notion of Omar saying, I don't know anybody, and Sean saying, let me get back to you, hopefully we killing that. We killing that because we said, hey, look, before we go through the wealth builder, you're going to give me a short list of about 3 to 5 people, right? Before we do anything, that's what we're going to do. So they've committed to that. So the whole let me get back to you thing, no, we ain't getting back to them because that's the first thing we're going to do when we get back together is to talk about that. We going through that. We're going to make that short 3 to 5 list. And if you got any questions about that, anybody, just let me know and I can give you a little bit more detailed coaching on that because as a professional, you have to be compensated and rewarded for the work that you put in. Let me give you a secret. Referrals are the lion's share of your compensation. Y'all missed it. The referrals that you get is really the biggest portion of your compensation. Yeah, I know you wrote the life insurance policy and Primerica is going to cut you a check for that. But if we didn't get referrals, we left the biggest portion of your compensation on the table. So you got to look at referrals as compensation for the work that you're doing. You have to look at it like that because if you don't, it's so easy for you to leave it on the table. If you don't look at referrals as your comp, as the biggest part of your comp, it's easy for you to leave it on the table. And trust me, family, I've been guilty of this. But I'm recovering. I'm in rehab. We got to right the ship, right? Because speed of the leader and then the attention detail of the leader pays, man, it's the speed of the pack. And the attention detail that the pack stays focuses on. I'm telling you right now that what we're talking about today could be a game changer in your business. I'm talking about overnight. Could be a game changer in your business. And so what do we do when people say, let me talk to them first? We got to get in front of that. And so this is what you do. You go ahead and put it out there. You go ahead and address the pink elephant that's in the room. So that way they don't spring it on you at the time for them to pay their fee for service, which is the referrals. You go ahead and spring it on them. But you go ahead and tell them, you get in front of it on that first appointment. So they've given you the commitment saying, yep, I'll give you the referrals, all that good stuff. You told them, hey, this is the first thing that we're going to do before we take you through the wealth builder is create a short name list of about 3 to 5 people you would love to see become financially independent and meet certain criteria and all that good stuff. Does that sound fair enough? They say yes. And then you tell them this. Look, I understand that sometimes, when it comes to the point of us collecting the referrals, that people can feel, a little uncomfortable about giving the referrals because they think that they might have to call the people and get their permission before they give their name and their phone number out. Does that make sense? And they'll say, yeah, it does. Well, listen, I don't want you to feel any type of way about that. Because what you're going to see is we're going to take you through a process that I guarantee you everybody that you know should go through. Now, this isn't scripted. This is you speaking from the heart, but you got to get in front of it. You say, listen, I promise you, anybody that you refer to me, they're going to get special treatment. You'll never have to worry about getting a phone call of somebody saying, why did you refer that person to me? That's not going to happen. They're going to get special treatment. And I don't want you to go through the notion of trying to get people's permission, to call, because that means that you would have to explain a lot. And when you explain, a lot of times they don't know what it is. and they may shut it off or shut it down, say they're not interested, and they don't even know the blessing that it provide to them. Look, we're all adults. What I want you to do is give it over to me. Give me the name, give me the phone number, and I'll call them. They're not obligated to join me in business. They're not obligated to do business with me. All it is them taking a phone call from me, and they'll be okay because the referral is coming from you, and they know you and they trust you, and they know that you wouldn't refer anybody to them that's going to do them any harm. As you will see, I'm not going to do. And let them decide as an adult whether or not they even want to schedule a meeting with me. Trust me, it's okay. Does that kind of put your mind at ease a little bit? And if they say, yeah, Tanisha, that does put my mind at ease. Okay, great. Because when we meet back together, that's the first thing we want to do is go ahead and collect those names from you. And I don't want you thinking that, oh, I got to talk and get their permission first. I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. Right? And so that's a way for you to get in front of and overcome that objection. You just address the pink elephant in the room. You just address it. You just address it. I know sometimes you can think, well, should I just have them just send the text message out and see if it's okay for them to pass my name and number to you? I'm telling you right now, family, you can do that, but I don't really see that working a lot. I don't see that working a lot to where we text people or we have people send the text message out to folks to ask them permission if they can pass their name and number to me. A lot of times people are going to be saying like, no, they're not going to respond to it. You want to get them to a place where they're going to give you this name and this phone number without having to give these people permission to do that. You want to do that. But that's going to take you speaking from the heart and addressing the pink elephant in the room and letting them know that, hey, look, man, anybody that you referred to me, I promise you're going to get special treatment. They're not obligated to join me in business. They're not obligated to buy anything. It's just a chance for them to take a phone call from someone that's going to give them information that no one is offering the community. And I guarantee you they're going to be okay with it, just like you're probably okay with it. I mean, do you think the information was valuable that I showed you? Yes. Do you think everybody needs to hear about it? Yes. So we want to give them a shot at doing that. And they'll tell me whether or not they're interested when I make the phone call. But I don't want them to disqualify themselves from that opportunity just based on a text message exchange and asking for permission from you. We want to give them a shot to at least talk to me, and I can answer any questions that they have. Can I get your help with that? Can I get your buy-in with that? And making the list. Are you okay with that? And just seeing if you can overcome that with them and get past that with them. Now, that takes some skill, that takes some passion, and that takes just an energy from you that goes beyond just me giving you words on a script. You have to dig into your belief and why you're doing it. But what you're doing is that you're making your case, you're addressing the pink elephant in the room, you're making your case, and you're making an appeal to them to say, hey, look, I'm gonna treat your people good. And all I'm doing is just asking them for a meeting. And they're not gonna have any kind of negative blowback on you for passing their number to me because it's coming from you. And the nature of my call is to be a blessing to them. The nature of my call is to be a blessing to them. Just like I want to be a blessing to you. So you make that appeal to them to address that pink elephant in the room on the front end. I'm going to treat them special. I promise you, I'm going to treat them special. And some of your referrals are going to meet with me. Some of them won't. That's okay. But I don't want them to disqualify themselves before I even have a chance to make a phone call to them, because you know how our people are, and y'all can laugh about that. Say, hey, just give them a shot. Give them a shot. And so that's what you do. So that way, when it comes time for them to pay up your fee for service, before you take them through the wealth builder, they don't hit you with the, man, let me talk to him first. No, we just talked about that on the last meeting. We just got over that on the last meeting. Get in front of it. Get in front of it. Get in front of it. Does that make sense? Anybody have any questions or comments before we move on to the next part? Anybody? Excellent. All right.
Comment
Yes.
short. Game changer.
Game changer. Thank you, Auntie. Good stuff. Excellent. All right, talk to us, brother.
No, I was just gonna say that exactly what you said is perfect. It's a great technique. And one thing that I could, add to it at the end is, let's say, Nick, you are the prospect. After everything you said, you can say, Nick, nowadays, nobody gets offended to get a phone call from somebody talking about making money or saving money. Wouldn't you agree?
When you agree. That's good. That's good. Yes, nobody gets offended for that.
Yep. So that was it.
Perfect. That's a great add-on at the end. Hey man, nobody gets offended by somebody calling them, trying to show them how to make money and save money. Wouldn't you agree with that? Wisdom, y'all. Wisdom. Wisdom. Good stuff. Good stuff. Add it to your repertoire. Add it to your repertoire. Guess what? We got all of this on wax for you to be able to listen to over and over again. And so check it out. You said that. And look, now that you're at the Wealth Builder, now is the moment of truth. This is what you do. Before starting the Wealth Builder, let me tell you this. I don't want to hear no, oh, Nick, I forgot to talk about the referrals before we went through the Wealth Builder. Oh, man, I was supposed to do that. I forgot. It's not in your spirit. It's not in your spirit. If you forgetting, you ain't got it in your spirit yet. If you forgetting, you don't think that that is the lion's share of your compensation, so you're not taking it serious enough. If you're forgetting, right? You ain't forgetting the Right to Life app. You ain't forgetting that. You're not forgetting to get the IBA. You're not forgetting that. So don't forget the referrals. You are selling yourself short if you are not making that appeal to get the referrals. And this is a plea to everybody, including myself. Before starting the Wealth Builder, remind the client about, hey, remember I mentioned that our fee for the only fee for service was creating that short referral list of people that you know that would love to be financially independent. Let's go ahead and go through that right now, right? And so you get that short list with them. You're looking for about 3 to 5 people. Listen to me, family. You're looking for 3 to 5 referrals from people. Don't be trying to hit the home run and get a daggum top 25 name list for people. You better not be doing that. You're looking for quality, not quantity. Now, if people can rattle off several folks to you and their quality, man, God bless you. But I'm here to tell you right now, in my experience in the business, I want the best 3 to 5 people that they know. I used to try to collect a whole laundry list of referrals, and guess what I found out? It was only about 3 to 5 of them that was quality. Y'all ain't hearing me. So why would I want all that fluff? I want the best 3 to 5 people that they know, that's the most qualified, that they have the best connection with, the most credibility with, because their credibility with these referrals means everything. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute, right? And so you're looking for a list of 3 to 5 people. Again, get in front of the objection if you need to again, by giving a brief summary of the process that includes, hey, man, they're going to send a text message. Hey, listen, this is what's going on, right? We're going to create this brief short name list, and I'm not going to contact anybody before you call them, before you contact them. I'm not going to contact anybody, right? Before you reach out to them and send this text message, but I need you to do it pretty quick. I don't want to contact anybody before you send this text message out, right? So, and you show them the referral text. You tell them what the referral text is about. And that referral text is designed to warm them up. Ensure that the people that refer be okay because it was them that they referred them. Ask for 3 to 5 people that are between age 25 and 50 and employed full time. This is the criteria. You want only people that are between age 25 and 50 that are employed full time. And then after getting the referrals, you further qualify them and find out, hey, man, are they married? Do they have any kids under the age of 19? Are they a homeowner? But how you start the list off is, man, who do you know? Who are the 3 to 5 people you know that are between age 25 and 50 and employed full time? So you get those 3 to 5 people down, then you ask more questions about, okay, so these 3 to 5 people you gave me, you're starting with the first one, man. I mean, are they married? Are they single? Okay, they have any kids under the age of 19? Okay, they do, great. They own a home? Yeah, great, excellent. And then do it with the second one. Are they married or are they single? So you further qualify them after you've written them down. And then This is the referral text message that you want them to send it out, Hey, I just passed your number to a friend of mine, Shanitha. She's with a company that shares some powerful financial concepts with me about creating more wealth. It made me think of you. Take a phone call from her and schedule a time to meet with her via Zoom to find out more. I think you'll be impressed with the information. I'm here to tell you, family, if people send that text message out, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, man, I just passed your number to a new friend of mine, Omar Rodriguez. He's with a financial company. He's with a company that shares some powerful financial concepts with me about creating more wealth. It made me think of you. And now you're the plug. The referrer is now the plug, right? For the concepts for creating more wealth. People see this text message. They say, man, good looking out. I appreciate you. Thanks. It made me think of you. Take a phone call from him. Schedule a time to meet with him via Zoom to find out more. I think you'll be impressed with the information. Good stuff, man. Have them send that text message out. And then when they send that text message out, they may get a response back like, hey, man, thanks. Well, tell me more about it. Listen, it's just an opportunity for you to find out more about how to become financially independent. I don't want, and this is how you can coach a client. Tell them, hey, I don't want to share all the information with you because I think that Omar would be better equipped to do that. He'll call you. He'll explain more. He'll answer all your questions. And that's it. Don't have the client trying to explain that his insurance, investments, and this and that. Yeah, they're going to show you your FIN number. Like, don't have them doing that. Don't do that. All right. So kind of prepare them for that in terms of, hey, if you get somebody to hit you back and ask more information, just let them know, hey, look, it's about helping people get on a clear path to become financially independent. Omar will be better equipped to answer any detailed questions about it. Just wait for a phone call from him. I'll tell you, he's a good guy. He'll explain more. Something to that effect. That's how you coach the client. And then what you do is when you call the referral, you are using the referral client script, and you want to have your overcoming objection script with you as well. You're using the referral client script, and there's an overcoming objection script that you want to have handy as well. Now, this overcoming objection script, it lists these 7 objections that you'll get when you're scheduling appointments with referrals. It is these 7 objections that you will get from a person as you are trying to schedule an appointment with them. Yep, it's only 7 common objections. And the most common one that you're going to get, hold on a second, let me put it up real quick. These are just some common ones that you're going to get. I don't know if you can see this on the screen. Hey, I'm not interested. I'm too busy right now. Can you call me back at another time? Can you email me some information? Hey, I need to talk to my spouse. I already have a financial planner. Whatever the case may be, there's an overcoming objection script that you need to have handy that gives you what to say in response to those objections. I'm telling you right now, family, if you're calling referrals, you better have it handy. To this day, when I call referrals, I have my overcoming objections script handy that I can immediately refer to when somebody gives me an objection. You mainly get these objections when you're calling referrals. That's why it's so powerful, right? So where do you get these tools? I'm glad you asked. Well, when you log on to Primerica Online, you click on that link that says Virtual Base Shop. And in Virtual Base Shop, you click on that tab that says Resources. And then under Resources is Base Shop Resources. You click there. And then under Base Shop Resources, under this section that says Scripts, there is Referral Script -Client. You click that, you get that there. And then there's one that says Overcoming Objection Script. Wow, it's just that easy. Overcoming objection scripts. That's where you get these tools and these resources. They are at your disposal right now. Right now. Imagine if you got 3 to 5 referrals from everyone that did not join you in business. Imagine that. If you got 3 to 5 referrals from everyone that did not join you in business, how many contacts would you have? And you'll never run out of people to go see. That won't be a problem. But a lot of times, people stop doing the business is because they don't have people to go see. That's one of the problems. Well, what we can do is we can correct that injustice and we can right that ship. Now, I will say this. If you've done appointments with people in the past, and these are good quality people that still support you, they care about you, and you did not get referrals from them, guess what? We can go back to them for the purpose of collecting referrals. There's always that game of going back. We can always go back and get in front of the people that you've already sat down with. Now, this is only for people that still support you, they care about you, and they want to help you in your business. And it's obvious that they want to help you in your business. Let's get back in front of them. If we didn't get referrals from them the first time, let's get referrals from them now. We can always schedule those meetings, all right? And so it's not a lost cause if you say, oh man, I've already met with people, I didn't get referrals. What do I do now? No, we can always go back to them for the purpose of getting referrals, all right? And so we can work that process also. Now, last thing I want to cover before we end training is a part of training that I have not really covered, and that deals with the beneficiary certificate and the emergency contact certificate. The beneficiary certificate and the emergency contact certificate process, right? So what is that? So what a beneficiary certificate and emergency contact certificate is, we only get those on people that we actually do life insurance policies for, right? When you do a life insurance policy on someone, family, we should be getting beneficiary or emergency contact certificates for everybody that we do a life insurance policy on. And let me tell you why. One of the biggest challenges in the life insurance industry to date is that people will pass away and their family won't know that they have a policy, especially single people. People will pass away and their family won't know that they have a policy. And so they'll scramble trying to look for, okay, do they have a policy? Do they not have a policy? What's going on? And the family, if they can't locate the policy, that death claim goes unclaimed. And there's millions of dollars out there in unclaimed death benefits because the family never could locate or find a policy. And sometimes insurance companies just aren't trying to raise their hand and say, hey, we had your family member covered for said amount, and looking to chase them down. The family had to pay the money out. And so, not saying that Primerica is like that, but this is what we say, right? For every policy that we do, even if it's a husband and a wife, we want to have them identify someone to be an emergency contact, right? So just in case something happens to the both of them, who is a responsible person that is an adult, right, that you would want to have as your emergency contact. And on the emergency contact certificate, let me pull it up. There is a place on there for you as the agent to fill out information about the insured, the emergency contact that they've designated, and there's a place to put your information, right? Your name, phone number, email address, things like that, right? Now, the emergency contact certificate and the beneficiary certificate and all that, it doesn't have any personal information in regards to details about the policy. Like, it doesn't say how much the coverage is for or anything like that. It just has contact information on there. Because if, God forbid, something happens to that person, whoever they designated as the emergency contact can immediately call the contact numbers on there, which will be your information or our home office information, because that's on there too, to get the claims process started. So that way the family's not scrambling and looking, trying to find the insured person's policy. Let me ask y'all a question. How many times have you guys done appointments with people and they say, yep, I got some life insurance. And then you ask them this question, can you put your hands on your policy? And they be like, it's somewhere in there. That's a scary thing, guys. It's somewhere over there. I don't know. It's in a cabinet somewhere. Okay, if that person drops dead, what do you think the family is going to do in trying to locate their policy? What do you think that they're going to be doing? How do you think that they're going to locate their policy, right? I got a visitor. And so what do you think that they're going to be doing, right? They're going to struggle if the person who's insured can't find the policy, then it's probably going to be very difficult for the family to find the policy. It's going to be very, very difficult. And so this emergency contact play helps with that. It helps with that. And so that's what our approach is. And so let me show you guys what that is. So this is the emergency contact certificate, and then this is the beneficiary contact certificate. You can take certificates for both, right? And then this is the script on how to take somebody through the process. We have this out there, guys. This is available to you. You can start using this right now, right? You can use this right now. And so let's talk about it, right? And so this is how it works. This is the emergency contact beneficiary script process. You know, after you finish the life app, you can do it at any point. You can do it either while you're taking the life app. Normally when you can bring it up is when you're taking the beneficiary information on the life app. You can bring this up, or you can wait till after you've completed the life app. You can bring this up. Either way, you know, you can bring it up at either one of those points. Both ways are effective. You say, hey, listen, Mr. and Mrs. Klein, I don't know if you know this or not, but one of the biggest challenges the life insurance industry faces when people pass away is their family doesn't know that they have a policy. This creates millions of dollars in unclaimed death benefits. So as a safeguard against this, we want you to identify probably about 2 to 3 people that can be your emergency contacts for your policy. And what we'll do is we'll give each of them an emergency contact certificate that has your contact information on it. And that has our contact information on it. So this way, if God forbid anything ever happened to you, your family wouldn't have to stress in trying to locate your policy. Your emergency contacts would use this information on certificate to immediately contact me or our home office to get the claims process started. Now, the people you choose need to be responsible and trustworthy. Who do you have in mind, right? And let me tell you something. You help steer them on who they choose to be the emergency contact. You can do the same thing for beneficiaries. If there's a single person, they don't have a spouse, who are they putting as a beneficiary? I'm putting my sister, I'm putting my brother, I'm putting my aunt, whoever it is, right? You want to create this emergency contact situation for these people, but collect it, or beneficiary certificate for these people. So you're collecting these certificates, right? And then this is what you do. You say, hey, listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to send this text message out to each of the people that you've identified. Hey, I just listed you as, it could be an emergency contact or a beneficiary, whichever one they are. Hey, I just listed you as an emergency contact on my life insurance policy. My life insurance agent, Rosalind Morris, is going to be calling you to explain what that entails. Please be on the lookout for her call. Thanks, right? So they'll send that text message out to each of the people that they identified to be the emergency contact. And then when you speak to the emergency contact of the beneficiary, you say, you know, hello, David. My name is Rosalind Morris. You know, I am Darlene's life insurance agent. Did she give you a heads up I was going to call you? Yes, she did. Okay, great. Well, I was explaining to Darlene that, one of the biggest challenges facing the life insurance industry are that millions of dollars in unpaid death claims because the deceased family never knows they have a policy. Well, the system we have in place decreases the chances of that happening. Darlene listed you as an emergency contact. This way, if something ever happened to her, you would be the trustworthy person that can help get the claims process started. I want to schedule a brief Zoom video conference meeting with you to review what we call an emergency contact certificate. And this certificate will give you details on what steps to take if something ever happened to Darlene. Are you okay with being one of her emergency contacts? Man, what you think that person's going to say? What do you think they're going to say? They're going to say, of course I'm okay with that. Let me tell you something. If they're a beneficiary, they're going to say, yes, I'm okay with being a beneficiary of this person's policy. Absolutely. They're going to say that. And what you do is you set up the Zoom meeting. And so when you set up the Zoom meeting, you go over the emergency contact certificate with them, or the beneficiary certificate with them. And it's a short meeting, right? You got it filled out. You go over it with them, then you email it to them once you've done the meeting. And then you say, oh, great, man, hey, listen, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me to go over this certificate. This is after you've reviewed the certificate with them on the Zoom meeting. Hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to meet with me to go over the certificate. I told Darlene prior to choosing our emergency contact that, hey, to only choose people that she felt was honest and trustworthy. Now I see why she chose you. Let me ask you something. Do you mind, David, if I take a quick minute just to kind of share with you how we're helping families in the community? David's going to say yes. Absolutely. Go ahead. What is it? And then you go over the who we are, what we do, part of the winning presentation. And guess what? That person may disclose to you that they need some of these things. And you may be able to get another client. Or they may say they know people that can benefit from it. You may be able to get some referrals. But it's an easy built-in way to get more contacts or more referrals, however you want to do it. And let me tell you, family, these resources are out on Virtual Base Shop as well. They're out on Virtual Base Shop as well. In that same area that I described to you, they're in that same area and under Virtual Base Shop, under scripts. That's where they are. They're out there already. You can get your hands on them tonight at this moment if you want to. All these things that I'm talking to you tonight, game changers. Game changers. If you have clients right now that you haven't done this process with, and I know most of you haven't, you can look through your clients, right? Check their policy, see who their beneficiary is, who their contingent beneficiary is, all that type of stuff, and you can start making calls tonight or tomorrow to schedule these meetings with people to get their emergency contacts and get beneficiary certificates for people on their policy. Does that make sense? All right. Are y'all with me? Did I lose anybody? Y'all good? Y'all good? All right, awesome. All right. And so with that being said, guys, I think that is mainly everything, but these are just some keys to working referrals. Start contacting referrals within 24 to 48 hours of receiving them. Listen to this, because sometimes people can stall on sending out. They've given you the referrals, Sean, you got the referrals, but they haven't sent out the referral text message for whatever reason. Oh my God, would you please just send out the text message to warm your people up? Let me tell you something. If you are in a situation to where somebody is just stalling on sending out the referral text message to warm up their referrals, do not wait on them. Don't wait on them. Don't wait on them. Don't wait on them. If you asked them a couple of times, they still haven't done it, go ahead and start calling the referrals. It's okay. It's okay. Let me tell you how that goes. This is how it goes when you call referrals. The referral script, you call them up, you say, hey, may I speak to John? Hey, yeah, this is John. Hey, John, this is Nick. I got your number from Jackie. Did she give you a heads up I was going to call you? Now, if they did warm them up with the text message, he'll say, yeah. He'll say, yeah. Yeah, John will say, yeah, Jackie told me she sent me a text yesterday. Okay, great. Well, Jackie's a friend of mine. She knows that, blah, blah. And then you go through the referral script, right? Well, Nick, how does it go? How does it go if they didn't send out the referral text message? I mean, are they going to blow me off? I mean, is it going to be appropriate for me to call? Let me show you how that phone call is going to go, right? So you call up John. Ring, John. John, hey, John, this is Nick Bracey. I got your number from Jackie Mayfield. Did she give you a heads up that I was going to call you? No, man, Jackie ain't told me nothing. Oh, man, John, I'm sorry about that. She was supposed to text you and to go, oh, man, that's cool, Jackie. That's my girl. Man, she cool. What's going on? What's happening? You see how that works? Then you go through your script. See whether they sent out the text message or they didn't. It's all good. Now, of course, we want them to, but if they don't, it's not the end of the world. You can still make the phone calls and be effective, right? I just don't want you sitting around. You got a whole page full of referrals, but you're not calling them because you're saying, well, Nick, they haven't sent out the text message yet. Go ahead and call them. Go ahead and call them. It's okay. It is okay. All right. And so don't just be in this crazy holding pattern, waiting for somebody to send out some referral text message before you call them. Have your referral script and overcome an objection script handy when you are making the phone calls. And then it says your success. It should be your success scheduling appointments with the referral is based on two things. Your skill level in making phone calls. What is your skill level? Well, you have scripts to help you with your skill level. Practice them before you make the phone call so that way you sound natural. You're familiar with the language in the script. Have your overcome objection script handy and you kind of get familiar with that. But it's going to come down to your skill level in making the phone call and then also the credibility of the person who referred. The credibility of the referrer. That is where your success on scheduling appointments with referrals is based off of. Your skill level in making phone calls and the credibility of the referrer. That's why you only want 3 to 5 people from their list that they have great credibility with and that they meet the criteria between age 25 and 50 and employed full time. But they have to have, you want the people that they have really good relationships with. So that way when you call them, you call their referrals, the people love them, they respect them, and that when you say that they referred you, they immediately open up to it. And hopefully that makes sense. So with that being said, teammates, I think that brings us to the end. I'm going to put this training on our Hierarchy YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, all you got to do is go to YouTube and type in Prove It Training Official. Prove It Training Official, and you'll see our team logo. You subscribe to the channel, and then you'll have access to all these videos that are out there, including this training as well. Hopefully you guys got something out of tonight. I'm going to go ahead and pause right here to see if anyone has any questions or comments about anything that we've covered so far with the training. Any questions or comments?
So Nick, it's Kim. Hi.
Hey.
Hey. So are you saying there's an official certificate to give to the beneficiaries in the emergency context that we can actually just email them or whatever?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that certificate is actually a part of Virtual Base Shop. If you go out onto VBS, you should be able to access that beneficiary certificate, emergency contact certificate on our Virtual Base Shop resources. It should be out there.
Okay.
Yeah, and check this out. It's an editable file that you can type directly into. So I have one that's already on deck that I send out that it has my contact information already typed in at the bottom. So that way, when I'm going through it with the client that I'm writing a policy on, I pull it up and I go ahead and type in their information and I say, hey, who do you want to put as the emergency contact? Now, let me tell you this. You have the power to override who they try to emergency contact. If they try to put they brother that might be kind of out there a little bit, I'm putting my baby brother on there. Okay, tell me about your baby brother. Well, he about 22 years old. Okay, is he working full time with it? Well, now he's saying, no, I'll tell you what, you want to put somebody that's responsible. So I'm directing them to the person like, hey, you want somebody that's responsible. You with somebody on there that is, that's stable, that they're not going to be changing their number. Are y'all with me? The phone number ain't changing, all that good stuff. You want somebody that is, more established. And so you direct them to people that they should be using for their deal. But yes, the emergency contact certificate is out there. So let me pull it up real quick because I'm seeing in the chat that you guys want to see it. Let me put it out there for y'all. Okay, so here it is right here. All right, this is what it looks like. Can you all see this? It says contact request form. Can you all see this? Okay, I can't hear you because I got this up.
Yes.
Okay, all right, perfect. So this contact request form. So this is a Primerica form. This is not a form that I created. This is a Primerica form, right? And so you're able to put the insured's information. So who's the client? So let's say the client is Jane Doe, right? What's Jane Doe's email address? janedoe@gmail.com, right? Date of birth. Let's say Jane was born on the 4th of July in 1980, right? Where Jane stay? She stay at 2300 Jackson Street. Oh, y'all don't know nothing about that. She stay at 2300 Jackson Street. She in Houston, Texas. And 77040. Let's see, she over there. And then her phone number, her cell number is 713-777-8255. 9311, right? And then you put the emergency contacts in there. Okay, so Jane, who do you want to put as your emergency contact? I want to put my brother. His name is Bill Doe, right? And then you put Bill's information. I'm looking for Bill's email address. I don't have to get Bill's home address, but I'm looking for Bill's name, email address. You can collect it all, but you know, I'm just telling you what I do. I get Bill's name, his email address. I'm getting what state, what city and state Bill lives in, and I'm getting Bill's cell number and what is your relationship to them. That's what I'm getting.
Getting something.
That's what I'm getting, all right?
I got it.
And that's what I do. And so with that, you get that, and then you say, great, go ahead and send the text message out, you know, to Bill to let him know that I'm going to be contacting him. And then we contact Bill, set up a time meeting, and that's what I'm showing Bill. Hey, Bill, thank you for meeting with me to go over this emergency contact certificate. This is what's happening. I state the purpose of the meeting. And then I show them certificate and I tell them, hey, this is my information down at the bottom. Let me show you guys the one that has my information. Does this one already have my information on it? Nope, it doesn't. Okay, so I think the beneficiary, I got one that's blank. I got one that already has my information on it, but where it says agent, I have my information already pre-populated on there. So that way I don't have to do it for each one that I'm doing. I just say, hey man, for my personal clients, I'm already have it completed and filled out. All right.
I want to press this.
And so what I'm going to do is do all of that. So I got all kind of business, y'all. I'm sorry about that. So let me go ahead and stop the recording so we can get that done, but we can continue to train.